Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, HollywoodShono here, about to give you another Injustice Gods Among Us video. In this video, we promote Flashpoint Batman from level 50 all the way up to level 50 Elite VII, and the promotions will cost about 2.5 million credits. So as you can see here, at normal, damage is 11,745 and health is 18,954. So at Elite 1, damage goes from 11,745 to 17,618. Health goes from 18,954 to 28,431. Explosive Batarang, 1,175 damage. Blood on my hands, 3,524 to 7,047. And the Dark Knight, 17,618 damage. So at Elite 1, the Explosive Batarang does 1,762 damage. The Blood on my hands, 5,285 to 10,571. And the Dark Knight, 26,427 damage. So promoting up to Elite 2, damage goes from 17,618 to 23,490. Health goes from 28,431 to 37,908. So that's all the free promotions we get. Future upgrades are 491,000 credits. So the Explosive Batarang at Elite 2, 2,349 damage. The Blood on my hands, 7,047 to 14,094. And the Dark Knight, 35,235 damage. So promoting up to Elite 3, damage goes from 23,490 to 35,235. Health goes from 37,908 to 56,862. Each promotion is 491,000 credits times 5. So you're talking about 2.5 million to upgrade. And it's totally worth it. Explosive Batarang, 3,524 damage. Blood on my hands, 10,571 to 21,141. And the Dark Knight, 52,853 damage. So promoting up to Elite 4, damage goes from 235 to 41,108. Health goes from 56,862 to 68,234. So at Elite 4, the Explosive Batarang, 4,111 damage, which obviously is going to do way more than that. Blood on my hands, 12,332 to 24,665. And the Dark Knight, 61,662 damage. So promoting up to Elite 5, damage goes from 41,108 to 46,980. Health goes from 68,234 to 75,816. So on Elite 5, the Explosive Batarang, 4,698 damage. Blood on my hands, 14,094 to 28,188. And the Dark Knight, 70,470 damage. So at Elite 6, damage goes from 46,980 to 52,852. Health goes from 75,816 to 85,293. So at Elite 6, the Explosive Batarang, 5,285 damage. Blood on my hands, 15,856 to 31,711. And the Dark Knight, 79,278 damage. So promoting up to Elite 7, damage goes from 52,852 to 58,725. Health goes from 85,293 to 94,770. So Explosive Batarang at Elite 7, 5,873 damage. At Rank 2, 6,460. At Rank 3, 7,047. At Rank 4, 7,634. Rank 5, 8,222. At Rank 6, 8,809. Rank 7, for some reason, is still showing 8,809. That's really weird. At Rank 8, 9,396. At Rank 9, the same damage. This is really weird. You can tell the damage tooltip is really bugged, and hopefully patch 2.15 fixes that. But fully upgraded at 9,983 damage. There is no way it does that little damage. The Blood on my hands at Rank 1, 17,618 to 35,235. At Rank 2, 19,379 to 38,759. At Rank 3, 21,141 to 42,282. At Rank 4, 22,903 to 45,806. At Rank 5, 24,665 to 49,329. At Rank 6, 25,839 to 51,678. At Rank 7, 26,426 to 52,853. At Rank 8, 27,601 to 55,202. At rank 9, 28,188 to 56,376. And fully upgraded 29,363 to 58,725. So the Dark Knight at rank 1, 88,088 damage. At rank 2, 96,896. At rank 3, 105,705. At rank 4, 114,514. At rank 5, 123,323. At rank 6, 128,021. At rank 7, 132,131. At rank 8, 136,829. At rank 9, 140,940, and fully upgraded, 145,638 damage. That's pretty powerful. So now we're going to sort by damage. And I want to see exactly how he stacks up. So basically, well, we have to refresh out. So as you can see, Flashpoint Batman is the highest damage card in the game, and Justice 2 Aquaman is the original highest damage card at 1,400 base. Rebirth Jessica Cruz, I believe, has 1,350. Dawn of Justice Batman, Dawn of Justice Superman, and Justice 2 Superman at 1,300 damage. And then Blackest Night Batman, I believe, is at 1,275. And Ares is at 1,250, as well as Sinestro. Actually, Ares, Sinestro, Metahuman the Flash are at 1,200. Cassandra Cain Batgirl is at 1,175. Blackest Night Batman is at 1,250. And Animated Batman Beyond, I believe, is at 1,150. So you can see how he stacks up with damage. As far as health goes, Flashpoint Batman is currently 7th on health. So not really that impressive as far as health goes. He has the same amount as Dawn of Justice Superman, which is 1,300 base, which is actually still pretty respectable. You can't go wrong with that, and you're not going to be disappointed with that. So we're going to first show off Flashpoint Batman, some of the damage modifiers. Now, obviously, we do our tests with Batman and with 600 Wonder Woman, actually with animated Harley Quinn, so we can best test out the damage. So we're going to start off with Flashpoint Batman. We're going to use animated Harley Quinn, and we're going to use Prime Batman to do our damage testing. Now, the interesting thing about Flashpoint Batman is it actually does more damage on critical hits. So, to gear Flashpoint Batman without augments is actually a little bit more complicated than you think. While you might think that using League of Assassins, Adept Knives, Ibistic, and something else to give damage is actually better. No. Gear items like the LexCorp Gauntlets actually become super useful because that's actually a bigger modifier. And even a gear item like the Cloak of Destiny is going to rip people apart. So in our first test, we're going to use the Cloak of Destiny and 2 damage gear items with the Promethean Longsword. So as you can see, Batman's special attacks turn off all aspects of healing, which is kind of like the Scarecrow mask. It works for a certain amount of time and then it starts working again. Flashpoint characters on Batman's team gain destructive blows, which basically means more critical damage. So we're going to throw on the 2-piece LexCorp and Scarecrow's mask on Harley Quinn. That way we can guarantee healing. Actually, we're just going to throw on the dual 357 revolvers. I highly doubt we need healing, but let's just do it. And Batman I don't give a shit about. So in the first test fight, we have 2 mystery opponents and Green Lantern. So we're not going to do anything until Harley Quinn gets the 2 bars. We have a Raven. Not really a big deal. We probably should have tested out the damage beforehand, as I'm sure it's going to be pretty strong. So we're going to block on Harley Quinn. Alright, so Flashpoint Batman. Light attacks. 11,000 damage on a light attack. That's retarded. And the combo ender does like 50,000 damage. Green Arrow gets 1 shot. 23,433 damage. No augments. And at Elite 7. So we have to block the Grand Slam from Green Lantern. $27,542 damage from a basic attack. That is just retarded. Definitely gear up Flashpoint Batman for basic damage. 3,837 XP, 4,620 credits. Now keep in mind that is with the Cloak of Destiny. So let's see what type of damage we can do if we use just a regular basic damage gear item. Let's use the Mutated Bone Spike. So you saw the damage that he was capable of. Let's test it out now with that setup. So we're going to start. We probably should have started with Flashpoint Batman again so you kind of get a read for damage. So we're going to do that. Still 12,507 on the light attacks. That's just retarded. Absolutely insane. 25,000 on a heavy attack. So it looks like you get weaker results with the Cloak of Destiny. Again, we're going to try it. It's going to be a little bit harder. Actually, we can reverse power drain, so it's actually not going to be harder. Let's see if we get a critical hit and see how much damage we do. 28,539, so you're better off using a third basic damage gear item over the Cloak of Destiny when it comes to your basic attacks. Don't use the Cloak of Destiny. 3,845 XP, 4,690 credits. Alright, so now our third test. We are going to put the Cloak of Destiny back on. We are going to use critical chance items. So we're talking nanocarbon mask. And we're going to be using... We need the LexCorp gauntlets. So 30% crit chance on special 1 and 30% from nanocarbon. But we have 200% critical damage. So basically in this test, we're going to be testing out his special 1.
Begin.
Now obviously there's a 200% damage boost if the opponent is stunned. That obviously is not factored into play. And I'm actually kind of curious what the double damage would be like. So we're going to take a power drain there, that's okay. So 8943 on crit. That's pretty respectable. We could try another test though, so let's get Batman up to 2 bars so we have 2 chances for a stun. Alright, so we get a stun? Yes, we do. Alright, so Batman comes in. 21,000 damage on a stun. That's just retarded. So yeah, you could probably get away with, if you have somebody else that can stun, you can definitely get away with having the Cloak of Destiny on Flashpoint Batman. That is not the wrong choice. 3,853 XP, 4,760 credits. Now keep in mind, these tests are obviously done with Anime Harley Quinn and Batman. On a regular team, you're probably going to have characters like Injustice 2 Superman and Rebirth Raven. And for obvious reasons, Rebirth Raven can steal your power in a multitude of ways, and Injustice 2 Superman will rip your face off. So we're going to gear up Flashpoint Batman, kind of like we did earlier. So we have 2-piece LexCorp on Rebirth Raven. Now this is something that's very important. If you're going for damage drain or blocking, you can have the Soul Taker Sword. That's a good special too to get extra healing. You could also go for Scarecrow Ventilator Mask just to give Rebirth Raven a little bit more survivor. You never want to put power generation on Rebirth Raven. You're going to get obliterated if you do that. Now for Injustice 2 Superman, I really don't like putting 4th World gear on him, but we're going to do that for the testing out, and I'm not used to the mace being fully upgraded. So for this demonstration, we're going to be using the Gauntlets of Azrael. We're going to be using Ra's al Ghul's Scimitar. And we're going to use a basic damage gear item that gives crit. We'll use the Promethean Longsword. So we're going to do a 5-battle matchup in multiplayer. And we're going to see how well this actually fares. We probably should have changed our team online. Not really a big deal. So I didn't play last season. Thank you for the free credits. I appreciate it. Now on my Android account, I do still need to do this. So we're going to use Flashpoint Batman. We probably should start with Injustice 2 Superman, just in case there's an Ares, so it does absolutely nothing. So we're going to do that. And we're going to use Rebirth Raven. So this is a solid team if you're not using Killer Frost. You don't need Killer Frost on a team like this, and Killer Frost actually works against you because you can steal her power. Alright, so in the first battle we have Capo Tish with an Arkham Knight Batman, Shazam, and Raven. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. If Arkham Knight Batman starts with an Arkham Assault, it does absolutely nothing. Now the bigger problem obviously is dealing with Raven. So let's see if he starts at 2 bars. No, he does not. So we can safely go over to Batman. It looks like he has some form of fourth world, and that's where also that comes in handy. Power drain immune, so it looks like a combination of... Looks like fourth world might be on Shazam.
This is no game.
Shazam has a lot of health, so Batman is back in. It's just weird. It seemed like they deflect on everybody. That connects. And Batman does resurrect. 283 damage. That's retarded. Looks like we definitely face some sort of hacker, and that's where having fourth world is definitely handy on somebody. So unfortunately we cannot block out any more of those punches. So I'm leading to believe LexCorp is on Raven. That's perfectly fine. It's definitely going to be an endurance fight. We do have to watch out for stuns on Tegan, so hopefully we can avoid that. We have to block, that way we don't get stunned. Alright, there was the stun. Arkham Assault, we have to block that. Now we have to get off the stay down on Batman. And that is going to get rid of him, that's huge. So that gets blocked. I don't know what gear he's using. We're going to heal up Injustice 2 Superman. Alright, so Shazam is gone. I have no idea why a bolt of lightning from Shazam did so much damage, but it did. Now, the only problem here is that we have to deal with Raven swapping, but it doesn't seem like this Raven is very strong. So we're going to go off another flying punch. We're probably going to have to deal with another one. Let's swap. And we're going to punch and block. It looks like Injustice 2 Superman's going to clean up after the bullshit from Shazam. And Raven gets eliminated for the extremely difficult victory in the first fight. I'm really glad I went with fourth world on Superman. Normally I don't. 12,480 XP. 5,000 battle points, 900 credits. I'm really going to be curious to see what gear that guy had. So in the second battle, we have I Am the Sith with a Justice League Wonder Woman, Suicide Squad Deadshot, and Rebirth Wally West. Not a whole lot of gear score, but we do have to be careful. Alright, so it looks like Justice League Wonder Woman has the Ra's al Ghul Scimitar. Shield Toss gets blocked. Flashpoint Batman's going to come in. Just get off a Batarang and get some collateral damage on him. That unfortunately did not stun. Shield Toss does retard healing. So now Wally West is in, and he's going to do absolutely nothing except heal for 19,000. Superman's looking at him like, what the hell are you doing? We know a special's coming. We have to block. I think he's not going to do one. There it is. That's why we have Reflect here. That actually did some decent damage to Rebirth Raven. I think it's because she doesn't have any promotions. Stay down on Deadshot is going to do a little bit of damage, not a whole lot. The special doesn't matter if we take it. We're going to switch over. Forgot that Rebirth was not promoted. That Shield Toss hits for 15,000. We're going to got the blood on my hands. Get rid of Wonder Woman. So Wonder Woman is gone. Deadshot comes back in. Unfortunately, we can't steal power, but the Dark Justice is active, so we're going to go off the Empty Void. You can still use Raven even unpromoted and use her power manipulation, so don't think that you can't use it even if she's unpromoted. Let's punch. Now we have to worry about Rebirth Wally West coming in and doing his special too. So there's the resurrection on Deadshot. And once again, the fast action does almost nothing. But looks pretty cool. Target acquired. Let's get off an explosive battering. I don't think that's going to be enough to get rid of Deadshot, but it's going to retard the healing. So it looks like Superman's going to have to do it all again. Unfortunately, it seems like Flashpoint Batman is not doing so well. And this is why I'm saying that Flashpoint Batman, and he's probably better when he's augmented, but as of right now, he's not going to be a game changer. I still think Injustice 2 Superman is better than Flashpoint Batman. Now, we do have to do something about that healing from Wally West. Unfortunately, we have to be a little bit careful of getting our health stolen and taking a special and getting obliterated. We have to take that one. Now we can get Injustice 2 Superman in. Let's just punch. Raven already at 1 bar. That kind of sucks. I'm going to try again. Empty Void again connects. Well, we're getting pretty lucky with Raven not getting hit by Wally West. And I think it's a pretty low chance when you don't have another Rebirth character. Down he goes for the victory in the second fight. 12,480 XP. 5,000 battle points, 900 credits. Alright, so in the third battle we have HLB-123 with the Suicide Squad, Joker, Unhinged, Metahuman the Flash, and Reverse Flash. Not a whole lot of gear on these guys. You still have to be a little bit careful for Metahuman the Flash. Let's get in Flashpoint Batman. Let's steal the Joker's power. You can't use his gun. Alright, so we're going to go off the Empty Void. It hits on Reverse Flash. That could be good, as it might just take away his stuff. Let's get in Superman to absorb whatever he throws in. You gotta love the animation of that Reverse Flash. With the low gear score that you guys have, you really don't have to worry about specials coming in. We do have to save our special 2 for Metahuman the Flash, however. That's a nice heal. 19,000 from a combo winner. There's the Metahuman the Flash. Blood on my hands. How well will this one-shot somebody?
The gloves are off.
Does okay, nothing ridiculous. We do have to watch out for Metahuman the Flash coming in. There's the stay down. That should be enough to get rid of him. So yeah, Flashpoint Batman Special 2, in my opinion, is crap. That, unfortunately, will cellular regenerate to full health. They still have not fixed that issue.
Just die already.
Tuned up doesn't do a whole lot. Look off the explosive battering. Parts of the hit missed. Now, obviously, Flashpoint Batman can be a really powerful card when you do have a lot of augments. Don't get me wrong, Flashpoint Batman can be a powerhouse. Again, he's going to... That time he does not heal, and Reverse Flash gets eliminated for the victory in the third fight. 12,480 XP. 5,000 battle points, 900 credits. So on the fourth test fight, we have Fast Rope going up against Arkham Origins Batman, Arkham Knight Batman, and Blackest Night Martian Manhunter. All of the cards are level 51 Elite X or level 50 Elite 7. So here we have one that we can just absorb. Winged Avenger does nothing. Let's get Flashpoint Batman and do some damage while we wait on Batman to come in. Hopefully we can catch him off guard and just steal all of his power. That would be the dream. So we're watching for it. There it is. We stole his power. Power Drain immune, so he has LexCorp on. Which means we need to get Injustice 2 Superman in. That way his Arkham Assault does absolutely nothing. So we cannot Power Drain Arkham Knight Batman. Luckily, again, a Special 2 gets negated. Blackest Night Martian Manhunter is it. It looks like he's got fourth wool on him, so we have to deal with the other two first. Let's get Batman in. And let's get off of Blood on my hands. That's going to do some considerable damage.
The gloves are off.
But the last hit did almost nothing. Martian Manhunter tags out. Explosive Batarang doesn't do much. A little bit of a burning effect though. Let's get off a Flying Punch and heal up. Alright, let's try to reduce the power on Rebirth of Raven. So now that we know that Batman cannot be power drained, or at least the Arkham Knight version, we're going to get Superman back in. That Flying Punch is going to be some good value. No reason to take that. So if we can do some damage on the other Batmans, that would be pretty good. Unfortunately, it looks like he's going to get off another Batarang. We can't let him get off that special, although it's not going to do much. We know we can't steal power. So let's get the other Superman in, and another Winged Avenger does absolutely nothing. So we're like 3 for 3 on that. We do have to watch out for the Soul Survivor, though. So let's get off a stay down. 2 shots are going to hit on Martian Manhunter. And it looks like Batman comes in. That's going to do some heavy damage. We have to block with Superman. It's not going to do a whole lot of damage. And we have to steal... We have to get in Raven. That way we can try to steal power from Martian Manhunter. Unfortunately, he's probably going to come in next. So we want to get Injustice 2 Superman in and get the Soul Survivor off of him. Look at that value. Absolutely no effect. And now we can do this so he cannot heal. Very important. Doesn't do a lot of damage though. Wait, why did that heal? That's weird. Is it because the move wasn't blocked? I'm really confused by that. Let's get Raven in again and steal some power. We need to be ready to steal from Martian Manhunter when he comes back in, either through elimination or whatnot. So let's get off an Explosive Batarang. That is blocked, so again, that's not going to do enough to get rid of him. Nailed it. Raven unfortunately goes down, but we stole some power. I got to stay down on Martian Manhunter. If this connects, he's gone.
Had enough?
And down goes Arkham Knight Batman. So it definitely shows Injustice 2 Superman, in my opinion, is still better than Flashpoint Batman. 12,480 XP, 5,000 battle points, 900 credits. But that's just my personal opinion. Obviously, if you have Flashpoint Batman augmented, and you can see the damage output he is capable of doing with full basic damage gear, you probably don't want to be using the Gauntlets of Azrael and Ra's al Ghul. You're going to lose some damage. So in the 5th battle, we have Strict 940 with the Godfall Superman, Arkham Knight the Arkham Knight, and Animated Harley Quinn. All cards are level 56 to 60 Elite X. And we have 2 level 50 Elite 7s.
Begin.
So we're going to start off with Flashpoint Batman. We're going to see if we can get some damage in on Godfall Superman. So you can see the difference in damage. It's like 200% extra damage. So we're going to got the Blood on My Hands. That is going to get rid of Godfall Superman because it did not get blocked.
The gloves are on.
Wow, it did not. That move is horrible. The Arkham Knight doing a lot of work. We're going to punch on the Arkham Knight. And can we get out before he does a special? Yes, we can. However, he's got LexCorp on. So while that just gave him a bunch of power, Raven's still able to get off a special. And that's where 2P's LexCorp is really powerful as well. Godfall Superman gets the 2 bars. We're just going to punch him out. A shot's going to hit on the Arkham Knight. Harley Quinn is at 2 bars. We're going to Batarang. If we get a stun, we can possibly get some good value. Yes, we do. Fortunately, we don't get a block. That Bag of Tricks does a lot of healing. We need a combo ender on Batman. There we go. So yes, Flashpoint Batman can do some magic with his light attack, but it is kind of clunky. Got to be a little bit careful with it. And Blood on My Hands gets blocked.
You lack discipline.
So we're going to get Superman in. Gotham Knight's going to do absolutely nothing. And we've got these stay down. That's going to be blocked. Let's see if we can get some value from the Empty Void. That's going to do a little bit of damage. Harley Quinn is not at 2 bars, but she might use her special one. That's exactly what we wanted. And you can see the high damage that the Arkham Knight can do with basic attacks. Bring off a flying punch. Tortured Soul Blockbreaker does absolutely nothing. The explosive battering block. Tortured Soul is blocked. Still does some pretty good damage. And Flashpoint Batman able to survive for the victory in the 5th fight. 12,480 XP. 15,000 battle points, 2,700 credits. And we get a free force field device. Thank you very much, NetherRealm. You're so generous. So, as you can see, Injustice 2 Superman, in my opinion, is still a better card than Flashpoint Batman. And I still think that Arkham Knight Batman is the best Batman card in the game. But there are ways you can definitely make Flashpoint Batman work. I really don't think the light attack is the way to do it. I think it's better to just use heavy attacks. But, again, if you can make it work and practice with it, I think that Flashpoint Batman could be a replacement to Arkham Knight Batman, depending on the team that you're using them on. If you like this video showing off Flashpoint Batman at level 50 Elite 7, as well as doing 8 test fights in both Bonus Battle 6 and multiplayer, please give this video a like rating, comment, subscribe, share this video amongst your friends, and as a favor, check out my other Injustice Gods Among Us videos playlist, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch, which are all HollywoodShono. And which character would you like me to see promote next? Have a wonderful day, kids.
www.youtube.com/HollywoodShono. Subscribe, bitches!